Welcome to Edmonton. The North American Soccer League back in action in Alberta's capital today for the Eddies opening their first home match of the 2016 season. FC Edmonton versus Minnesota United at Clark Stadium today, one of the biggest spending clubs of the North American Soccer League. Real buzz around town as the season gets underway for the Eddies. High hopes for them after a spirited 0-0 draw last week, playing most of the game with a man short after a sending off early on in that one. Good afternoon, I'm Gareth Hampshire alongside Steve Sandor. Great to be back at Clark Stadium for the new season. The Eddies back in action after a pre-season tour of Scotland and a clutch of new players signing for the team.
Yeah, a couple of them figured in big time in the draw against Rayo OKC last week. Pop Diakite made the NASL Team of the Week, had a huge game at center back, and then Nick Ledgerwood is the holding midfielder, just did yeoman's work, and this is a guy they brought in, Alberta boy, lots of European experience, national teamer, and he's been a real boost to the club.
Today's match presented by Canadian Tire, and the players out on the pitch warming up. Eddies against Minnesota. I'm joined now by the FC Edmonton head coach, Colin Miller. Great to see you again, Colin. Welcome to the broadcast.
Great. It's great to be back again, Gareth. Long may it continue.
Yeah. Tell us about your hopes for this season. Steve talked about the new players you've got. What are you hoping to see from them this year?
Yeah, I'd like to see some consistency all the way through. I mean, last spring season it was well documented how poorly we'd started the season. We worked very hard defensively in our pre-season, and we're hoping that those attributes will go a long way to making it a successful start to us this season. Our goals are quite clearly to make the playoffs and win the championship. It'd be fantastic to host it here in November. It'd be brilliant. There'd be some pretty people, some fluffy people maybe that are used to warmer climates that would become a bit soft in this climate, that's for sure.
Yeah. What about today? One of the big storylines, Lance Lang back. You know all about him. You're the manager that put him on the wing in the first place when he really got dangerous. How do you stop him today? Yeah,
just get tight as early as we can. He's not going to run away from Eddie Edward. Eddie's as quick a full-back as we have in the league. We know that Langy he was a terrific player for the Eddies in key moments in games, scored some fantastic free kicks and delivered a number of quality crosses for Amiobi and for Dice to score him. So we know he has real qualities, good pace, but I believe Eddie Edwards is one of the strongest, if not the strongest right back in the league. So no pressure on Eddie today, but he should be looking forward to it. It's the next level of football for him. He's playing against a Jamaican international, so Eddie has to be prepared for it, and he has prepared very well. He's had a wonderful pre-season, but I just don't want Eddie defending. The same thing with Alan Zeeby on the other side. I want us to be attacking here. We had to play last week with 10 men, with Albert getting sent off, so we were limited to what we could do offensively. But this week is a different story. We're at home, we have to be positive, we have to be aggressive against this Minnesota team, and I'm sure we will be.
Still got a blend of youth and experience, a number of local players that you're bringing along, and Milan comes in again today. What kind of style can the fans expect to see from your team this year, Colin?
Yeah, once again, a very hard-working unit, no individuals. You know, I'm not a big believer in having the big head on the team. I want a group of players and staff that are committed to doing the right things all the time, and if we do that, we could be successful. You've seen last year with Ottawa in particular, a wonderful group of players, well coached, well prepared, and you can see how a good team dynamic can be successful. So we're looking along the same lines. We've always been built along those same lines here at FC Edmonton. Nobody is bigger than the club, and if we can do that, we've got better players this year than we've had in the past. We work very hard in the off-season to bring in this quality of player, and one or two are still finding their way at the club, finding their way at this level, Gareth, and once they do that, we've got a depth of squad here that we've never had at FC Edmonton before.
Great. Good luck today and for the season, Colin.
Thank you very much.
That's the FC Edmonton coach, Colin Miller, with us live on the pitch, and he'll go back to the dressing room. A couple of more words of encouragement for his team as they take the field against Minnesota United. Let's take a look at the league standings in the North American Soccer League. Still very early stages, but Colin alluded to it. The Eddies have been renowned for slow starts in the spring, and already a point in the bag, even in adverse circumstances.
Yeah, definitely considering these circumstances. 60 minutes playing a man down on a field that was slick and a little bit unfamiliar to them at Rayo OKC. Carolina Railhawks, 2 wins in their first 2 games, including a win over Minnesota last weekend, off to a flyer, and the early leaders.
Let's take a look back on the highlights of that match for the Eddies last weekend against Rayo OKC.
And here we see the foul. Marvin Chavez Albert Watson has a poor first touch, and then he's considered a professional foul there. And then we see some of the stops from Matt Van Oekel, who was named the man of the match for the Eddies. And here's that double save. Fantastic. The first save there on Georgios Samaras. With the Eddies, and you see Diakite with the block there. Some huge defending by the Eddies to hang on to that 1 point.
Matt Van Oekel up against his old club today, Minnesota, where he spent 7 seasons, and he is the road warrior for FC Edmonton, sponsored by Jet Set Airport Parking. Not really a surprise with his performance there.
Yeah, it's that double save that he had in the second half. Here we see it, the first save, and then the second one to preserve that clean sheet and preserve that point for the Eddies. Huge performance. And considering you would say that last year he started the season off slow, a big statement game for Matt Van Oekel.
And there is Matt Van Oekel against his old club. He'll know all about Minnesota, as Lance Lang will know all about FC Edmonton. Let's look at the keys to the game with Steve.
And it goes back to the defensive shape. Colin Miller talked about how important it is to be defensively strong. We saw it last week against Rayo OKC, and it's going to be huge today for Milan Roberts stepping back into the starting lineup with Albert Watson, the captain, being suspended because of the red card. Him and Pop Diakite have got to be huge in the middle of the park, and Eddie Edward has got to shut down Lance Lang. Some big tasks for that back four today.
Let's take a look now at the injury report for FC Edmonton as they begin their home campaign of this 2016 season here at Clark Stadium. And there we go, Tyson Farago and Richie Jones both ruled out by injury. And we're just hearing from Colin Miller as well that Eckersley is now joining that list too.
Yeah, and Alan Zeeby will move into that left back position to start today. So another Canadian in the lineup for the Eddies today.
FC Edmonton against Minnesota. There have been good games over the years in these matches that have become known as the Flyover Cup. It's the Eddies against Minnesota, and the kickoff is coming up next. Heads it into the back of the net. He's onside. Beautifully finished. A clinical strike. And Richie Jones scores with a header. And FC Edmonton have doubled their lead. Welcome to Clark Stadium for FC Edmonton's home opener. The first game of the Alberta capital of the North American Soccer League season. The anthems just finished. The players shaking hands as we get ready for kickoff. The Eddies against Minnesota today. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for the game today. And for FC Edmonton, Matt Van Oekel in goal today. A change at left back. Zebi comes in there. Eddie Edward at right back. It'll be his job to try to mark Lance Lang. In the middle, Pap Diakite, the new signing, alongside Milan Roberts, in for the suspended Albert Watson. In the midfield, Christian Rodales, Nick Leisurewood, the Lethbridge lad Canadian international, captaining the team today in Watson's absence, and Pablo Cruz. Saini Niasi on the right wing, with Daryl Fordyce just behind Tomi Amiobi up front for the Eddies today. And for Minnesota, hoping to get their first win of the season as well. And there's Lance Lang making his first start as a Minnesota player. In goal, Sammy and Jock. The fullbacks, Kevin Venegas and Justin Davis. In the middle, Tiago Calvano, the captain, and Brent Coleman. Giuliano Vicentini and Jeb Brovsky in the middle there. Danny Cruz, Ben Spies, and Lance Lang on the left-hand side. Christian Ramirez also deadly in front of goal, and he plays up front for Minnesota today. And we've seen many of his goals in the past here at FC Edmonton. This has been a good rivalry between the two teams, and that's a potent offense that Minnesota have.
Absolutely, there's threat all over, and Colin Miller, we referred to Minnesota's budget. He said it's like a phone book how much money they have available to them as they make the preparations to make the move to Major League Soccer, and definitely attracting a lot of marquee players into that Minnesota roster. And FC Edmonton, second time we've seen this season them go with a straight 4-4-2. It's something that Colin Miller's wanted to do. He hasn't done it the last couple of seasons, but it's a sort of a old is new again for FC Edmonton with a very traditional 4-4-2.
And the Eddies beginning their season after that pre-season tour of Scotland that Colin Miller wanted his team immersed into the culture of a soccer-loving country. Didn't want the players reading about baseball, hockey and basketball before the beginning of the season. Played 4 games, won 3 of them, drew the other. So that seemed to go well for the Eddies. A spirited draw last week in Oklahoma, and back in action at home today. And there they are in the white shirts, blue shirts and white socks, and Minnesota all in that charcoal gray. And the Eddies will kick us off, kicking from left to right, and Fordyce gets us underway. And immediately Ledgerwood floating a ball out to the right-hand side. Niasi won't get to that one, but it will be a throw-in for FC Edmonton, and Eddie Edward gets his first touch. He'll be relishing that battle against Lance Lang today, and it'll be really interesting to see how that one goes. Played against him plenty of times in training. He'll know every trick that he's got. First, it's Eddie Edward pushing the ball past Lang down the right-hand side. Niasi chasing after that one, and it's been put into touch by Thiago Calvano, and it'll be another throw-in for FC Edmonton. Good field position in the first minute here, trying to get the home crowd behind them, and a new stand just in behind the goal behind Unjok for the first game today. Edward making a good break inside Lang, then loses the ball. It's cleared upfield, and Diakite comes across to try to find touch. Ramirez attempts to keep it in, but has his team a throw-in on the left-hand side.
That's the one thing you'll see with Diakite and Milan Roberts in the middle. That's the 2 very large bodies. Should win a lot of battles in the air. Maybe take away a little bit of that crossing ability that we know that Lance Lang brings with Minnesota.
Diakite off to a good start, making the NASL Team of the Week, alongside Van Oekel, who also did that game in Rio OKC. Minnesota getting a hold of the ball. Here's Calvano, and Davis under pressure from Niasi will play it all the way back to Njok. Dominant goalkeeper, 12 clean sheets last year from Cameroon. And back in action in Edmonton today.
It looks like almost that Lang is playing as an out-and-out striker.
He's very far up the field, putting the pressure out there on Milan Roberts.
And you see, he's taking a rather central position. Like, he is not necessarily, now he's moving back out to the left side, but he's very, very advanced.
Diakite chasing back that one, and we'll let it run through for Van Oekel. Rolls that one out for Zebi. Home crowd trying to get in the atmosphere and lift the team. The sun out, but quite cool conditions. Just a couple of degrees above freezing in Edmonton today. Minnesota very comfortable on the ball in the early stages. Spies will clip one down the line. Lang chasing after that one, and he gets to it ahead of Eddie Edward. Looks for the curler with his right foot. Maybe it was a cross, but either way, it's fizzed out wide and gone past for a goal kick.
Lance Lang only had one thing in mind there, and that was to shoot. He wanted to make a mark early in this game.
A couple of boos rang out when his name was announced by the stadium announcers, but more in good fun than anything else. That's a misunderstanding at the back there, and Ramirez has a chance in the area, and that's a terrific one-handed stop by Matt Van Oekel, who has some choice words for his defenders, because that was an early gift for Ramirez and a very good stop.
Matt Van Oekel with an outstanding save here after a terrible giveaway down that wing that just presented the ball to Christian Ramirez. And but Matt Van Oekel does well, gets a hand to it, cuts down the angle. But boy, what a gift. Alan Zabi with a very poor ball over the back there on the left side.
Not what Colin Miller would have wanted to see. The resulting corner is headed back to the kicker, who this time lofts one into the middle, but in the 6-yard area. That ball is easy for Van Oekel. Very fine stop, low to his right there.
Absolutely, got his hand to it.
Roberts bringing the ball out of defense here, and then pushed out to the left-hand side, but for a throw into Minnesota.
Yeah, now so we have the throw, and just mention this is the first game of the Flyover Cup. The supporters of both teams have a trophy there. So Matt Van Oekel gets the ball, but the supporters have put together a trophy that's been awarded the last several years. The team that has the best record between Edmonton and Minnesota throughout the NASL regular season. The name of the cup comes from the fact that both sets of supporters self-deprecatingly saying that their cities are places where most people fly over.
There's been some good banter between the fans over the years. Some good matches between these two teams.
A lot of respect between the organizations too. They don't have a lot of tough words for each other.
Amiobi getting his first chance to run towards goal and putting it across that N'Jock is juggling, and it might just drop for Nyasi there. Minnesota in the end get it clear, but N'Jock just couldn't get a hold of that one and gather it in. Well played by Edward, pushing that ball out to the left-hand side, but bypassed Cruz, and Zebi won't get there. It is going to be a throw-in for Minnesota.
You mentioned the temperature, Gareth, and I think when it's only a couple of degrees above freezing, that ball's slippery, and we saw it there. N'Jock, lucky, didn't handle that well at all, and got away with it. But that's a lesson why every young soccer player, if you're attacking the ball, don't take anything for granted. You keep your run going. You never know when that ball might pop loose.
Excellent tackle by Edward, and the ball stuck to his right boot, and actually he could keep it in play. Look, for one moment he was just going to slide in and go into touch, but they've maintained possession here, FC Edmonton. Rodal is now trying to play it out to the left-hand side. He can't find Zebi, and that's going to be another throw-in on that right wing for Venegas. Colin Miller, very big fan of Venegas, who's done some damage over the years here in Edmonton for Minnesota. Those overlapping runs on the right wing. Ramirez, who's had the best chance of the match, and a rasping drive it was. Very good stop, but he's got the ball out to Lang here on the left wing. Nyasi tries to close him down. It's with Lance Lang. Strange to see him playing in another team's colors today, but fans will have to get used to it. Here is Lang again. There's that, one of those dangerous crosses whipped across the face of goal. Lang's appealing for it as a corner, but it's gone behind for a goal kick. But that's where we know he's dangerous, that kind of delivery. And
you see that Ramirez, he's so good off the ball. Here's a very clever run by him. Just the ball just a few inches behind him, but boy, that was a very good run. And that's the danger that Christian Ramirez poses. He's a striker. When you watch him, his movement off the ball is just so good. Presents a lot of options for the players trying to provide service to him.
And he knows where the net is, of course. 20 goals in 2014, 13 last year. He's Minnesota's all-time goal scorer.
He scored a beautiful goal, albeit in a loss against Carolina last week, just seconds into the regular season.
Here is again Ramirez, trying to turn this one to the path of a teammate. The ball bubbling around in there. And Edmonton finally getting a hold of it with Cruz. Two Cruzes on the pitch today. Danny for Minnesota, and Pablo for FC Edmonton. Here's Pablo again, out wide to Edward. Rodala's back to Edward, puts him under a bit of pressure, but he just hoofs that one clear. Little drop for Rodala, just pokes this one over the top, and it's a back header by Brent Coleman to his goalkeeper and Jock. On the right-hand side has a lot of space to move into here for Minnesota. He's looking for a driven crossfield pass, and it's a beauty. Picks out Lang here. Lang on his left foot's a low bending cross again, but that's going to be easy for Diakite, who clears that one easily. Lang with a little flick, but that one didn't work out. He's given possession back to FC Edmonton. Crowd trying to get on the back of Lance Lang earlier. What a waste of money is the chant going to him.
They're having some good fun. He was really well liked in his time here with the Eddies, and it's a little good-natured banter from the supporters group.
Contributed about a third of the goals to FC Edmonton, with some kind of playing some role in it, either scoring or assisting Lang. And so it will be interesting to see how they replace that, because he was such a danger man for FC Edmonton.
The most important telling stat, Gareth, from last year is he missed 10 games because of international duty last year. Eddie's only won 1.
Here's Zebi with a cross from the left-hand side. Not a bad one either, but well defended by Minnesota. Well, I mean, the club say they offered him a good deal, but it was just one that he was getting better offers.
That's what happens. I mean, he's a free agent, and he's going to make the decision that he feels is best for himself. You wish him well moving on. But yes, definitely last year. I mean, if you look at the Eddie's record in the games that he played, if you were to prorate that in the games that he missed because of international duty, you'd say, well, the Eddies are a playoff team easily. But it was without him, and that's going to be the question going forward. They feel that they've made a lot of signings. Colin Miller's very confident in the signings that they've made. But you know, for the fans who know this league, they know what Lance Lang brings, and it's going to be interesting to see as the season unfolds.
Nyasi twisting and turning in the middle of the field and tries to play the through ball for Ledgerwood. Finds him nicely. There's Nyasi again. Ledgerwood wearing the captain's armband. Back to Nyasi. It's a good pass. We'll try and get around the outside. It's a teasing cross in towards the near post. Well dealt with. Throw into Minnesota.
Last week, Colin Miller, after the game, he was lamenting in that first 30 minutes when the Eddies were 11 on 11, that there were a couple of opportunities where the crosses were very poor, where Daryl Fordyce or Tomi Amiobi had gotten to some good positions. And so today, the crosses have been better. They've been cut out and well defended, but at least they've put some pressure on the Minnesota defense.
Still 0-0, 12 minutes into the match. Cini picks up Davis and go back to Njok. Left-footed, he clears it. And it drops nicely there for Minnesota. But poor pass towards Lance Lang. He's never going to get onto the end of that one from Ben Spees.
Eddie Edward with a throw in, and him and Lance Lang, as you and Colin Miller alluded to, trained against each other for years. A lot of scrimmage games against each other in this position, so very familiar.
There's Spees running through the middle. He's got a bit of space here. He's going to try and drive one, and that's over the top. Had options either side, but only had one thing in mind, and that was a strike. But Van Oekel watched that one go over the top.
And looked like he was trying to hit the new big scoreboard, the Titan scoreboard that's behind Matt Van Oekel at that side of the pitch. It's another new feature to Clark Field this year.
Rodala's winning a 50-50 tackle in the middle of the field against Spees. Referee stopping play. It looks like Spees has gone down and it's hurt. There were some appeals from Minnesota players that was a foul. Wasn't given. And Spees is still sitting down there, just nursing his right leg.
skip here anymore.
Here's the tackle.
A couple of feet in.
Maybe the studs are showing there, and he's sort of gone over the top a little bit and into the thigh is where.
Now, very famously, the professional referee organization who oversees the refereeing in all of MLS, USL, and in the American games, the games on American soil in NASL, there's a big crackdown right now going on. The players know about it, the teams know about it. For player safety, a lot of cards are being shown. It's been talked about. But remember that the games in Edmonton and Ottawa, the referees are assigned by the Canadian Soccer Association. So not the same kind of pressure on the referee to show cards.
I think the referee saw that one as a 50-50. Didn't even really speak to Rodales. Cross coming in from the right-hand side here. Lang had gone to the middle, and it is going to fall for Davis on the left-hand side. He's not been able to keep that in play, though. Throw in for Edmonton.
Yes, he took that a little bit too casually. Waited for that ball to come to him, and Justin Davis sprinted up. And Niasi's lucky that Davis wasn't able to keep that ball in. You just can't be that casual waiting for the ball to come to you. You have to go and get it.
Good hustle by Davis there to almost catch Niasi unawares. Ledgerwood turning that one over the top. He's going to chase after it himself. Coleman playing a ball coolly back to Njok. And now Venegas picking up the play. Not sure it was intended for Davis, but Davis is the one who gets there. Brovsky helping it on, now Vicentini. And they're finding gaps there between the Eddie's midfield and defensive zone, and Venegas is running into it this time, and Spies has continued his run, and it's a cool finish, finding the corner for Minnesota. And it's not the first time Spies has threatened, and this time he has scored a goal, and Minnesota have the lead. The Eddies trail 1-0.
Yeah, defense cut open there by a good first pass here. You see it cutting through. Spies' run. Diakite gets a piece of it. Edwards sliding, can't get to Ben Spies. Really well played, diagonal ball. There's the turnover from the center of the defense. And that's when the trouble begins. But poor play by the Eddies, and it's punished. And Minnesota, I have to say, deservedly in the lead. 1-0 at the 16th minute.
Ben Spies finding the corner. Nothing really that Van Oekel could do about that one, and that was a clinical finish. Minnesota, good value for the lead. And the crowd have gone a bit quiet here at Clark Stadium. Roberts makes a break forward, but loses the ball to Venegas, who's brought down. Referee waves play on. It was Venegas making that key pass that he threaded through there, coming forward from the right back position to pick out Spies.
Perfect pass. And Spies with a very cool finish into the corner, but presented, a gift presented again by the FC Edmonton back four.
Nice flick on header there by Tomi Amiobi, but well negotiated by Minnesota. Lance takes it on the chest. Rodales gets it off him, but runs the ball into touch for another throw in.
It just feels like they're having a hard time communicating with each other right now, the back four for the Eddies. And, you know, while it's instinctual and you don't want to get too much into it, Pop Diakite doesn't speak English. And you wonder if there's at a point where there's some issues back there in terms of communication, because it seems disjointed. There's been some passes where players have just not been where their teammates thought they should have been or could have been, and Minnesota has taken advantage. And really, if not for Matt Van Oekel's wonderful save early in the game, it could be 2-0 right now.
Yep, FC Edmonton not really got going in the first 20 minutes of this match. Edward finding Rodales with that throw. He's in plenty of space here. Picks out a pass to Zebi.
But we have to note that Diakite was on the team of the week last week, so it wasn't an issue then.
Niasi on the right-hand side. And now Edward. He's gone very deep with that cross. Amiobi will just let it drop and gather it in. Drops for Rodales again. And Zebi, who stayed
for 5, yeah.
up from that left back position. A chance for Cruz here, gets it out of his feet and tries the shot. Goes into the stand behind the goal. It was definitely worth a pop.
Thiago Calvano, who's down.
It looks like they actually might be getting ready to make a substitution here very early, Minnesota.
Damian Lowe is prepped.
Edmonton fans, season tickets are the very best way to reserve your seats for every FC Edmonton game this season at the best prices. To purchase your season tickets or for more
The captain Calvano that's down there.
Or visit fcedmonton.com.
Didn't see anything. Just might be a tightening. Sometimes, you know, the muscles just get tight when you're playing in cooler weather.
First match of the home season today for the Eddies. The next one, April 24th, Sunday, 2 p.m. kickoff again. And it's Ottawa Fury, all-Canadian matchup, April 24th. Tickets at fcedmonton.com.
And obviously the Fury and FC Edmonton will be meeting too in the Amway Canadian Championship, our Cup Championship, coming up as well. So a lot of meetings between Ottawa and Edmonton slated for this spring.
Well, that's the end for the captain, Thiago Calvano, from an injury, and replaced by Damian Lowe, who's wearing the number 31. Calvano not happy, throws down a water bottle in the dugout beneath us here. His match ending after 20 minutes. It's a good header by Diakite. And Rodales gets up well as well, but it is into touch for another throw in.
Amiobi wincing a little bit after that challenge with Justin Davis.
Lowe getting his first touch there. Spees again finding space just in front of the defense. Linking up nicely with Cruz. Succini. Ramirez with a little flicked header. Fordyce back there helping out. Hasn't had much service up front, so he came back to get the ball.
Yeti just having a hard time. Minnesota's pressing the ball. They've been very, very aggressive, trying to get the Eddies to turn the ball over in their own half of the pitch, and it's been successful so far. You can see they're not giving the ball carriers a lot of space. It's not a situation where Minnesota's waiting on the Eddies to get to half.
Ramirez threading that one nicely into the path of Lang, and it's a good defensive play by Alan Zebi to deny him. He's just on his wrong side there, not on his favored left foot.
It just took too long. He needed to have a go there. When he steps in the box here, this is where he's going. He's just carrying it too long. Maybe a little bit of a heavy touch there. not putting him in an ideal shooting position. But again, the Eddie's getting stretched. Another ball getting through.
Lang's ball from the right wing. It's a beautiful corner. Nicely flighted, good bend on it. No real danger in the end. And they're trying to pick out Lang once more.
I think if you're Colin Miller, you got to be really concerned about the ease at which Minnesota's been able to get sort of behind your back four with some balls getting through either down the wings or right up the middle.
We'll talk to both coaches at halftime and see the analysis of Eddie's coach, Colin Miller. Ramirez just straight offside there. Free kick that Van Oekel will take. Zebi taking the left back spot. Eckersley still not quite right. Colin Miller just giving him a rest now because he's just had too many niggling injuries cropping up. Wants him to be fully 100% before he's back in the squad. Cruz on the right wing. Some space here. Darts into the penalty area. It's a good ball in. And Amiobi just couldn't get the touch. That's probably the best we've seen from FC Edmonton.
That's a good reaction by Njok too, because sometimes the most dangerous thing is when that player doesn't get a touch. You're expecting so much that that Amiobi's going to redirect that ball, and you're trying to anticipate it. So we see here that foot flashes forward, that you're not really ready for that ball to stay on a straight path. You're expecting, I see it so many times, that ball will go in because the keeper has to play that forward coming in on him, and then it ends up that ball just keeps on his flight. So Njok does do well to save that attempt, but definitely at the Eddie's most dangerous chance so far.
Good control there from Brovsky. Through ball cut out, and it's with Rodales again.
Brovsky, a former member of the Montreal Impact.
Again, just misunderstandings. They're giving the ball away a little too much today.
Yeah, it just feels like it's a communication issue. Like you look at players and they're moving away from the ball or not be where their teammates think that they should be.
Yes, he's going to give chase to that one, but Njok, always the favourite, on the chest of Ledgerwood. Drops to a Minnesota player. Fordyce penalised for a handball there.
It was still a good idea, getting that ball wide down the wing. I see Niasse, they've switched sides. Niasse now coming down the left. Just trying to change it up a bit. Cruz coming down the right side, we saw it, creating that chance with Amiobi. You sometimes see players switch just for a little bit in the game, but right now it looks like both players are sticking to this new side.
Cruz is going long, it's on the chest of Amiobi. And gets a free kick for FC Edmonton.
It's where the Eddies have some big bodies, they have to make him tell.
Just gets there ahead of his man, and it's a bit of a check. This is where we used to see Lance Lang take these free kicks.
Rodales is going to be there, delivering this one in. Milan Roberts coming in. Diakite going in, providing some big bodies along with Amiobi and Fordyce.
Rodales curls it towards Amiobi. A good header, and then Njok makes the save and gets down again to keep that one out. Good double stop from Sammy Njok. Roberts was the man charging in with the second chance at goal, but Amiobi with a good header, good direction on it, tried to guide it to the corner here, and it's a very good stop.
Some words here with Kalman and Lowe and the official here. Issue with the ball.
Referee doesn't seem to think so, just drops it back for Njok. Kicks it out of his hands. Nyasi, not a good header, ended up just flicking it on there for Danny Cruz, who's tackled well by Zebi.
Understand that Njok was jawing with the members of the supporters, that new stand that's right behind him, having a couple of words there back and forth. That's what's supposed to be. It's supposed to be there to give the keeper a hard time.
Definite trip on Venegas there, fired from Nyasi. Free kick to Minnesota. And here's where Lang is so dangerous, giving up free kicks in this area, where he can whip these into the penalty box. Every man back for FC Edmonton. Gone towards the penalty spot and flicked on just past the post, and too quick for Ramirez to be able to get a touch, but again, very dangerous.
Yeah, it's Kalaman coming up from the central defensive position, gets his head to it. And I think he was going for goal. I don't think he was trying to set up Ramirez there. I think Kalaman felt with that flick that he had enough pace on that free kick from Lance Lang. He just needed to get a little redirection. It was a good effort.
Free kick to Minnesota. On the half-hour mark of the first half, the visitors with a 1-0 lead. Davis's ball to the edge of the area, headed away by Diakite, back by Lang. Second bite of the cherry for Diakite. Rodales doesn't get it clear. Diakite does this time. It's gone past halfway, very high. Ball for Lowe to clear. Rodales again struggling to clear his lines there. It'll be Roberts playing it forward for Leisurewood. Free kick given. FC Edmonton potentially had the advantage there, but referee had already blown the whistle for that foul on Leisurewood, who seems to be in some discomfort, clutching his left shin.
Yeah, I think Mr. Barry here, our referee, might be reaching into his pocket. It'll be a yellow card there. And that's why the play stopped.
Vicentini, the first player into the referee's notebook.
Ledger was still struggling.
Check out the Sterling Hall Premium content or FCEdmonton.com.
Ledgerwood played for Canada a week and a half ago at Azteca Stadium against Mexico, and said that the next morning he was on the plane 4 in the morning to get to the Eddie's opener at OKC.
And a lot of discomfort there. Still doesn't look quite right. He's going to try and run it off. Good header by Roberts takes it on the chest. Puts one over the top there, away by Lowe. Throw in for FC Edmonton. Ledgerwood getting his head to that, fresh from that injury. Still walking a little bit gingerly there, just trying to get moving.
Damien Lowe there in that challenge. He's clutching his face still. He's up and around, but was definitely in some discomfort.
was clattering into Roberts and then still getting a ball forward, but they managed to scramble it up towards Fordyce. Fordyce and Amiobi not with too much service today. It's Lang at the other end who's pressing forward, playing a nice pass to Davis. Davis sliding it across the face of goal, and it, thankfully for Edmonton, goes past everybody. Still Minnesota, it's Spees. Plays across up to the far post. Good header away by Eddie Edward. Lance Lang on the end of that one. Another good spell by Minnesota here. Venegas on the wing. Stopped from that one from going out of play. He's done extremely well here. And now tries to come in from that right-hand touchline. He goes down under the challenge. Referee was on the spot, didn't see anything wrong with it. And there's a potential chance for Edmonton to break forward here. Ledgerwood's pass to Amiobi, though. Again, scrambled away by the defense, and it's with Nyasi.
That incident happened just outside the box. Wouldn't have been a penalty had the referee called that, but boy, that would have been a free kick in a very dangerous position. It'd be interesting to see that again. That was very, very close. The referee felt that was a fair challenge from Nyasi.
Fordyce going down at the other end. He thinks that he was brought down as well, but the referee doesn't agree with him either. So it's a goal kick for Minnesota.
It's worth noting too, these teams, whenever they play each other, tends to be close. Not many blowouts between the Eddies and Minnesota. In fact, the last 3 games between the two, they've drawn. So whenever these two teams play, it's always close. And the last 3 have been sawed-off affairs.
Kick off the ground by Njok, but it's well won by Roberts. Cini plays it back for Njok. And that's just confirmation of the 3 draws that the teams played out last season on the screen. Minnesota with the better of the first half here and pressing again, but Van Oekel will pick that one up. Eddie's still trailing 1-0 to that 16th minute goal by Ben Speaks. Fordyce have to surrender that ball. They couldn't keep it in. Nyasi, it's a throw in for Minnesota. Cini trying to sweep a ball out to the right-hand side. He's just overhit that one. It's a throw-in. Zebi will take. Goes up the line with that one. It's not a bad throw, but they can't keep possession. Fordyce has won it back. Back to Amiobi, streaking to the edge of the area, trying to slip it through for Fordyce, and he just overhit it. He's never really on balance. He's being clipped out from behind the whole time. It was good defense by Minnesota that just distracted him, I think.
Yeah, it made it to the point where it was sort of he just threw his foot at the ball rather than trying to make a measured pass. Or you can see he's not really on balance. And then he pushes that ball through too strong for Daryl Fordyce.
Not very many chances for FC Edmonton in the first half, trailing 1-0. Ben Spee's goal, the difference between the teams. Ledgerwood trying to play 1-2 there, didn't find its mark. Davis, who's taken the captain's armband, making a run down the left-hand side and winning a free kick for Minnesota.
They say that the Eddies haven't had a lot of chances. Really, Amiobi's had the best couple of looks. There was the header, and then there was that the pass from Pablo Cruz that Amiobi just couldn't quite get on the end of. But Minnesota has had some dangerous chances. We talked about Matt Van Oekel before the Spees goal. Made a very, very good save on Christian Ramirez.
Spees with this free kick from the left. Gone deep to the far post. There's a header at the far post. Comes back off the crossbar. And FC Edmonton survive again. Diakite with an acrobatic clearance. Niassi trying to play them out of trouble. He finds Zebi.
And Diakite, I think in making that clearance, absolutely went through Venegas. And I think he's still down there at the top of the box. But I think that's Damien Lowe, the sub, coming up. He puts this one off the post.
Well, did everything right, heading it down like they tell you to do. Lowe.
Yeah, it was Damien Lowe.
But just bounced back up and agonizingly hit the crossbar. Minnesota with a bit of a let-off there. FC Edmonton could be further behind.
You know, if it's a few degrees warmer and this turf isn't quite as hard, I think that's a goal.
Nothing that Van Oekel could do about it. His dive was powerless to get near it.
You see Diakite in the tail end of that. You see, to get the ball, to get it out, he just goes right through Venegas. I don't think there's anything dirty there. I think it's just a player. He's going for a ball, but Venegas is still down. It would be concerning for Minnesota if they would have to use another sub in the first half. And Venegas has been very good today.
Created the goal that Spies scored, and constant threat from the right-hand side. Kevin Venegas.
There you have a look. There's Lowe. Just off the turf. Matt Van Oekel had no chance there. And as you said, Gareth, it's how you're taught to do it. Head it down, let the bounce do the work. And I said, if it's, I think, a little bit warmer and this turf has just a little bit more give to it, I think that goes underneath the bar. The Eddie's very lucky. They could be down 3.
Looks like Venegas is going to be okay to carry on. Just going to leave the field before being allowed back into play. 4 minutes to half-time. There'll be just for that, the treatment to Venegas before half-time, and then the Eddies will need to regroup. We'll find out what Colin Miller will be saying to his team shortly here when we speak to the coaches.
I'm going to take a wild guess and say that Colin's appraisal this first half might not be the most positive.
Yeah, I think he'll think there's things to improve on for sure. Roberts, good little flick header back to Van Oekel there. On the right-hand side. Cruz does well to stop him, but has conceded a corner.
It's good to see that Venegas has bounced up after that injury. Lance Lang gonna whip in this corner.
3 corners for Minnesota.
Minimum three.
And this is another nice delivery at the far post. Just can't get ahead on it. Brovsky is climbing high, but didn't get any real purchase behind it. And it's a goal kick. Played by Fordyce. Cruz just poking one through for Ledgerwood. Ledgerwood couldn't find any of the attackers, but it's won back by Rodales. Good challenge by him there. Lowe making that interception through the middle. Desperately unlucky moments ago, hitting the angle of the bar and the post, I think. FC right-hand side. Tries to cut inside and deliver a left-footed cross. Well defended again by Minnesota. A couple of them having a stab at it and getting it clear.
Minnesota well positioned there. A lot of men back. Damian Lowe gave that ball away, actually, Daryl Fordyce, to set up that opportunity. Then everyone rolled back. Edmonton did have a couple people in the box, but the Loons were well positioned to cut that off.
Two minutes of stoppage time. At the end of the 45 minutes. So still some time for Edmonton to eke something out here. Amiobi has won his team a throw in. Good position here.
I just think the Eddies have got to keep challenging them and get balls in the area, use that height advantage. Get balls in.
Yes, he puts that one into the near post and Jack drops onto that easily.
The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 2 minutes extra time allowed.
Speeds again in that space, flicks the ball over the top, nicely played for Ramirez, and that's a terrific acrobatic save by Van Oekel, one-on-one against Ramirez there. Again, the defense carved open a little bit too easily.
Between Matt Van Oekel and the woodwork, it's the only thing that's really keeping this first half anywhere remotely close, Gareth. Another golden chance for Ramirez. Speeds with a wonderful ball. Roberts doesn't read it quickly enough. Ramirez gets in behind him. Milan Roberts was slow there to react to that ball and allowed Christian Ramirez that space. And Matt Van Oekel comes flying out, makes a wonderful save. But you know, I think you got to ask Carl Craig at halftime do you feel unlucky to be only up one? But so there's still time to play yet.
Lance Lang's corner from the wing. Oh, and there's another chance right in the middle of the area for Brovsky. It was just a touch high for him, and it's going to in the end be a goal kick, but FC Edmonton at 6s and 7s a little bit in defense in this first half.
Absolutely, and again, we talked about it earlier in the half, how easily Minnesota's finding ways to get behind that back four, behind the central defenders. Diagonal balls, balls over the top, balls down the wings. They're getting behind with regularity.
Wood in possession for Edmonton here. Can't find Cruz. And that tells the story really of this first half for FC Edmonton. One where they haven't really found their best form and have been on the wrong end of that first 45 minutes. Minnesota the better team and go into the break with a 1-0 lead. Could have been more than that really, but it's the goal from Ben Spees in the 16th minute that has put the Loons in front by 1-0. We'll be hearing from both coaches at halftime here. See what their assessment has been in that first half. A first half where Minnesota could have had a bigger lead. And we'll be hearing from their coach, Carl Craig, to see what he thinks about the way his team played. Lance Lang, for the most part, not really a major threat, but certainly we saw his crosses and his corners caused Edmonton a couple of problems in that first 45 minutes. Couple of chances for Amiobi, one with a header that Njot pushed around the post, and he was threaded through and just couldn't get the touch from a nice run by Cruz. But other than that, not too many clear-cut chances for FC Edmonton.
Not the case in Minnesota. They had quite a few good chances.
Let's talk to Eddie's coach, Colin Miller. Colin, thanks for joining us. Just let's begin with your assessment of the first half today.
Yeah, poor in possession again. We're getting into some good areas again. You say there's no clear-cut chances for the Eddies. That's I disagree with that, because we've been in good areas, but it's been the final ball that's been letting us down. The difference between us and Minnesota, we are actually trying to give the ball back to them as quickly as we get it back. And they've got good movement, good players, and we've just been running beside people. Milan Roberts, Pat Diakite, they've not been good enough here in this first half. Just letting people come off. Ramirez has had 3 chances getting in behind Milan. So one or two will have to get sorted out here in the second half. Big Matt's kept us in the game here at this point, but it's still only 1-0 and there's still lots to play for. But if we're just going to run beside people, never put a tackle in, that's what we're going to get in the first half.
Thanks, Colin. That's Colin Miller. His assessment, feeling like there were chances, but feeling like he wants to see a bit more competition from the players.
Yeah, and I think we saw there he's clearly unhappy with his central defenders. Christian Ramirez had a couple of just wonderful clear-cut chances. And Matt Van Onkel really is the Eddie's best player of the half.
Colin Miller joining us at halftime. He's back into the dugout and back into the tunnel. We'll be seeing what changes, if any, happen in the halftime interval, and join us for the second half. 1-0 Minnesota lead. Welcome back to Clark Stadium, and there is the haggis eating contest. 5 contestants at halftime, including ex-Edmonton player Paul Hamilton. I think somebody called Terry won it, but I'm glad I wasn't involved.
Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't involved, and best of luck there for Hammy to be in there. Good on him. Glad it wasn't me.
Scottish Day today in Edmonton in celebration of the pre-season tour of Scotland for the Eddies. Now let's see how they did in that first half. Here are the halftime highlights brought to you by Medical Imaging Consultants. A couple of defensive breakdowns for FC Edmonton. This as being the first one. Ramirez getting a chance to shoot at goal, and an excellent stop by Van Oekel. That might have been his best. There was a rasping drive. Here's another problem. Venegas sliding it through for Spies, and that's a composed finish.
Yeah, and again, I think Milan Roberts getting caught a couple times there. We saw there's giveaway on the first chance that was saved, and then there's giveaways out of the back again that led up to that Venegas to Spies chance and finish.
Good little bit of trickery by Cruz here, and Amiobi just couldn't get a touch. And then again from Cruz, Amiobi, that partnership linking up. But Amiobi's header pushed around the post by Njok.
Yeah, and it was a good opportunity, and I think here we're going to see Damian Lowe, the substitute, headed it down and then off the bar, unlucky. And then there's another great save by Van Oekel late in the first half, again on Christian Ramirez. It was a tough day at the office for the Edmonton back four.
Still only 1-0 though, and can the Eddies come back? We'll find out in the second half. Stay with us. For FC Edmonton versus Minnesota, the second half, and our match today brought to you by Canadian Tire. Eddie's trailing 1-0 at halftime. And kicking towards the goal to our left in this second half. Minnesota have the kickoff. And a 1-0 lead.
You can look at this 2 ways. You can say, if you're an Eddie supporter, that you're unhappy to be down after one half. We can also say, wow, only down 1.
Ledgerwood getting an early touch in the second half. Rodales finding Zebi under a lot of pressure there, and forced into sliding that into touch. An early throw in for Minnesota.
An early unforced error.
Damian Lowe playing that one across the back line, of course hitting the crossbar in the first half with a downward header that bounced up off the ground and rattled against the woodwork. Bagpipes in full flow on Scottish Day here in Edmonton. Crowd trying to lift the home team in the early stages of the second half. Very strong home record they've always had. Tries flicking one on towards Amiobi, couldn't find him. See the possession statistics there show that Minnesota shaded it as well. 52 to 40.
You think it's fairly even, but you look at just the possession in dangerous places on the pitch.
Roberts is in a bit of trouble here. Just, I think, got the foot up against Ramirez, who's gone down under the challenge. The crowd seemed to think that he was going down before he was touched. Just reaching for it. It's a yellow card for Milan Roberts. Walking a bit of a tightrope now.
Milan didn't get the best reviews from his coach at in the halftime talk there. Know that a couple of times Ramirez has slipped away from him. Creates some very, very good chances.
Number 15, Milan Roberts of FC Edmonton has received a caution in the 47th minute.
He might have actually got his foot on the ball, but it's just that he's got his studs up.
Yeah, studs up, foot extended. And
maybe a little harsh. He's obviously just heard from his coach that he got to get stuck in. That's a tough one. Venegas' free kick is over the top, looking for Lance Lang. Zebi gets a touch on it, and Diakite puts it into the sky.
You're right there, Gareth. Milan Roberts obviously been told, don't give up space. You were giving up too much space to Ramirez, and closes it down, and now has a card.
Weather conditions in Edmonton, 4 degrees, mostly cloudy, sunny at the moment. 4 degrees just above freezing, a little bit of a breeze as well, gusts of about 10 km.
It's about 40 Fahrenheit for our viewers in the United States.
Perfect conditions for the players. They don't really notice it, but it's for the crowd. Maybe just a touch on the chilly side today, but Edmonton in April could be snowing. So.
It would be more of an issue, or it would be something you talk about if Miami was in town or Fort Lauderdale. Because we've seen when it's 15 degrees Celsius outside, they're wearing winter jackets and toques. But with Minnesota here, the players were fine. We talked to Minnesota people before the game, and this is absolutely fine weather for them.
Yeah, I think if the game had been yesterday, we were talking about that earlier, it was incredibly windy, gale force winds. That would have been a problem for both teams.
Oh, yeah, we would have been wondering about what we were seeing blowing over the stadium in terms of what that windstorm we had was hellacious. I know that they talked about it training-wise, Minnesota, that it was just impossible to get anything done because the wind was blowing so hard. We've seen that happen in previous games here when the wind picks up. It really gives an advantage to one team over the other in each half. But that's not the case today. It's actually quite still. It's actually, as you said, it's beautiful conditions to play the game.
Cruz in possession for the Eddies. They'll find Diakite. Rodales. Good ball out to the right wing. Edward playing it back for Diakite. Roberts. Put together a lot of passes, but in the end, still in their own half, the Eddies here.
Minnesota's shape is very good. Not getting pulled out too easily.
Dallas just sliding it a bit too far for Zebi. That's gone out for a throw-in. Ledger Wood stealing possession there and playing the ball up towards Nayasi. Opts for Diakite, heads it down for Roberts, who'll play it back into the path of Van Okel's right boot.
I do think that they have to be a little bit more willing to go route one, try to get Amiobi to hold the ball up, challenge those central defenders in Minnesota.
Eddie's trailing 1-0 at Clark Stadium. Speeds' goal in the first half, the only goal of the match so far, although Lowe hit the crossbar for Minnesota as well.
And Matt Van Oekel made a couple of stealthy saves as well.
Well played by Vicentini to get possession there, and a through ball for Lang. He's offside. And he's hit it miles over the top as well.
Clearly Lance Lang's excited. He gets that chance to slate a goal. He's going to have a go.
He's actually onside.
He's onside there. The Eddies get a break because that Lance Lang was on.
When the ball is kicked, he's definitely onside. You could tell from the lines on the pitch, that's harsh against Minnesota. Diakite finding Ledgerwood and Nayasi. Loses out to Davis in the end. Continued his run, and he's done well. And is he brought down? He is. Referee.
Is this going to be trouble for him because he's already on a yellow? And is the referee Dave Barry going to decide that Milan Roberts is that a foul? That's a professional in nature. This is going to be a very interesting decision for the referee. But I do think he's going to leave the card in the pocketbook.
Yeah, I think that was punishment enough in his eyes, was the free kick. Minnesota players are talking to him, but he's made his decision.
But you have to think now, with that let off, Milan Roberts gets close to a foul now, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He's walking the tightrope.
Here comes the free kick. Well blocked by FC Edmonton there.
Dave Barry is letting them play today. I think that's fair to say. He's only given them a couple of yellows. See, Dustin Correa looks like he's ready to come into the
great break there, and that's a super finish. Lovely goal by Minnesota, and Spies has done it again, and that was unstoppable. Lovely clip over the defender, continued his run, and a very fine finish into the corner. No chance for Van Oekel.
And Milan Roberts is the player that's beaten again. Unfortunately, this is not going to be a day that he's going to want to look at his highlight, the highlight reels. But simple throw-in from Venegas. Ben Spies turns Milan Roberts around. So some individual brilliance there from Ben Spies. He's had a fantastic game for Minnesota. Flicks the ball over Milan Roberts, then finishes the chance himself.
Substitution for FC Edmonton. Nayasi has been withdrawn, and Dustin Correa is going to come on and see what he can do for FC Edmonton.
Minnesota United FC goal scored by number 10, Ben Spies.
Spies on a hat-trick.
I think we can fairly say this. Albert Watson's presence today has really been missed in the center of defense. His suspension today has meant a lot to the Eddies. In a negative fashion, obviously. Really missing him back there today.
Two-0 down now. This is going to be difficult for FC Edmonton. Get a stoppage in play for an injury here before they can get moving again.
FC Edmonton is proud to partner with Soccer Express, Canada's largest soccer store, as the official supplier of team apparel. Shop now at soccerx.ca. You can also check out our merchandise tents right here at Clark Field today.
Here we're going to take a look at it again. Venegas with the throw. Milan Roberts goes to Spies. Quick flick. You tell the defender to get close, but in that case, he's almost too close. Gets in. Spies does the little quick flick. It's individually brilliant. Let's not downplay Ben Spies' flick to himself and spinning the defender around. I mean, that's going to be a goal we're going to see on a lot of NASL highlight reels, and well deserved. Ben Spies has been excellent today, and but well earned by Minnesota. Their full value to be up 2 goals.
Lang winning a free kick against his old club here.
It's Jake Keegan, the American forward, ready to come in for the Eddies as well. Ready to check into this game. Played in the Irish League last year.
And a throw in for Minnesota. Picked on by Vicentini, but picked up this time by Van Oekel.
But the Eddies need something. They need a spark. Because really the first 10 minutes of the second half have gone much the way of the first. Minnesota's asking all the questions. Very good today.
His long kick there into touch. It'll be a throw in for Minnesota. The substitution can happen now. It's going to be Daryl Fordyce who's coming off, and Keegan will replace him. First time the home fans have seen Keegan.
16, Daryl Fordyce out. Now entering the match, number 23, Jake Keegan.
Venegas making a break forward on the right wing. Well played by him. Cruz cuts inside. Ball to the far post. Zebi does well to get up and get the header on it. Another corner for Minnesota.
This time it looks like Lance Lang not going to take it. He's staying up at the top. Obviously looking for a ball that comes out in the wash. The Eddies have yet to take a corner in this game. This is Minnesota's 5th.
Fisted clear by Van Oekel. Got a good punch on that one, but it's with Lang. Lang's ball back into the area, and there's Lowe again up winning a header, but that one's high and over the top.
Lowe had excellent position though. Again, was down the middle, and he had a free look. It was a very good ball by Lance Lang. Just Lowe got under it. But again, Minnesota, that was a very good chance. I know that ball flies off Lowe's head and goes harmlessly away from goal, but dangerous chance again for Minnesota. And once again, the defending allows too much space.
Cruz trying to get Edmonton going here. He's done very well. Slipped it down the side for Keegan. It might drop in the area, but it drops in the end for Danny Cruz, who makes the clearance. Keegan again getting a chance. Good cross into the area. Amiobi just beyond him. So a couple of good touches there.
Positive touches, at least getting the ball into the area. Cruz there dancing through a couple of Minnesota defenders to at least get that ball into a dangerous area. Ask some questions, get that ball bouncing around the area where You know, it ends up being where no one seems to know where it's going to go, and that's actually a good position if you're the attacking team.
That's getting worse.
Good header by Zebi.
That was good by at least Cruz and Keegan to put Minnesota at least under some pressure.
Sliding challenge by Rodales there, and it might drop for Keegan again. He's trying to ride that challenge and has got a free kick for the Eddies.
Free kick or a throw?
I think it might be a throw in, yeah. Pass forward by Lowe to Cruz. He's bundled over by Ledgerwood. Free kick for Minnesota here.
Cruz, there's some words with Ledgerwood. Now Cruz being brought over. He hasn't stopped talking. He's walked away from Nick Ledgerwood, but he hasn't stopped talking. Nick Ledgerwood fouled him. There's a push in the back. Free kick was awarded. He's telling both the players to calm it down. I think that's sensible refereeing.
Touching one on in the penalty area. The strike goes wide. Goal kick for Van Oekel.
And he's got to get more balls to Amiobi and to Keegan. Ask some questions. Try to put that Minnesota defense under some more pressure.
Oh, nice little back heel by Ramirez there. Try another trick on the edge of the box, this time Cruz, but didn't quite work out for him, and the ball's back with Van Oekel.
Cruz has had moments, though. He's got the ball right now where he's looked dangerous today. He's trying to shift in, trying to get defenders to move their feet, trying to invite defenders to come out after him, chase him around a little bit.
There's Keegan on the right wing again. He's done well to make that happen. Tried to thread one through for Amiobi. He's won his team a throw in. He's had quite a decent impact since he's come on, Keegan. A couple of good runs.
Yeah, he and Cruz have linked up a couple of times in good fashion.
Rodales sweeping a pass to the left wing here in Zebi. Zebi looking for the 1-2 there, but Venegas is going to be on the end of this through ball. Venegas has been very unselfish there and tried to play it across for Lang. And in the end, it's conceded the corner. You really thought that he'd go for
another
goal.
Terrible giveaway by the Eddies, though. Three players together. They give the ball away, leads to a break. And I think Venegas, he knows the situation. This is Venegas understanding this is a big moment for Lance Lang, coming back to Edmonton and trying to feed you a goal. Best thing for Venegas in that situation is got to shoot that ball. But another great Minnesota scoring chance off the back of a terrible Eddies giveaway. Alan Zebby that time with a poor pass.
Another corner for Minnesota, headed away at the near post by Tommy Amiobi, driven back towards goal again, but Cruz gets on it and is pushed over. Free kick for FC Edmonton. Ledgerwood does well, wins the ball there, and Rodales gone very long with that ball over the top, and it's all the way through for Njok. Just over 20 minutes to go here for FC Edmonton, losing 2-0 to Minnesota. Amiobi will try and charge Njok down, but it's gone towards Ramirez with that long ball forward. Throw in Minnesota. Pressure by Keegan there, trying to win the ball back for FC Edmonton.
Good work, Keegan!
Ramirez, edge of the box, nice little touch into the path of Davis. Good tackle.
Diakite laid out there, broke it up.
Going to be another corner.
This will be Lance Lang from this side of the field. For an in-swinger off the left foot. I think that's the corner count. We said 7-0 now for the corners for Minnesota. And for a team like the Eddies, they have to get those set-piece opportunities.
Headed back across the face of goal and off the line in the end by FC Edmonton.
That was Nick Ledgerwood. I think Minnesota was claiming. I saw a couple of hands waved from Minnesota players. But Ledgerwood clears that off the line. And yet another close call for the Eddies.
He's played one back to Van Oekel. On his left foot. Drills it forward. It'll drop there for Rodales. Turned by Rodales there. Finds Cruz. Cruz poking it on for Amiobi. Amiobi hasn't really been in full flight today. He's got a throw in here. Keegan brought down, free kick for the Eddies.
And this is where the Eddies got to make something happen and get some bodies forward. Get players like Diakite and Roberts in the area. Add some of that aerial advantage they should have with Amiobi as well. get the ball into a dangerous area and just try to cause some havoc in that Minnesota penalty area.
Well put in by Rodales there. Defended well by Minnesota. Korea trying to win it back. Rodales heading it over the top. Coleman does well there. Cruz back towards the danger zone. Brovsky happy just to whack that one clear. Well, the starts in the spring season have often been the undoing of the Eddies, and this one at home, not the way Colin Miller was just looking for.
No, and I think you have to look at Minnesota's a very good team, and obviously they're coming in angry. The wounded animal is a dangerous one, coming in off that loss last week against Carolina. And the embarrassment of riches continue as Stefano Pino ready to come into the game. And we know of his scoring exploits with Fort Lauderdale last year, brought us yet another high-profile signing by Minnesota, and he's on the subs bench.
Yep, Brazilian player. Bit of a luxury being able to put him on as a substitute. And he's going to replace Ben Spies, who is on a hat-trick. Probably wouldn't want to be brought off if it was his choice, but he's already put in a good shift. 2 goals. And his second one, a real beauty. Little flick over the top. And outside of the boot finish.
Yeah,
That's not a bad day's work by Spies.
Ben Spies has been terrific today. I can't take anything away from his effort today. Been outstanding for Minnesota. But the Eddies, and they're missing Albert Watson today. As I mentioned earlier, he got a straight red in about the 30-minute mark against Rio OKC last week for what they call professional foul, and his presence has been missed today. The center of the defense. There's been just a lot of space for the Christian Ramirez, Ben Spies. Saw the 2 goals that he scored, and the many chances that Matt Van Oekel's had to beat away. So I would say that Matt Van Oekel's been the best player for the Eddies today.
Korea. He's going to win maybe a corner for FC Edmonton.
There's the first corner.
First corner of the match for the Eddies. 15 minutes left. Cruz is going to take it. Rodales gets his head on it. I just couldn't direct it towards goal. It'll be a goal kick for Njok.
Minnesota, no hurry to take their the kicks now. They've got the 2-0 lead.
Pino getting his first touch for Minnesota. Diakite getting a touch behind him, and again, very brave goalkeeping by Van Oekel to get down at his legs and make a very aggressive claim there in goal for the Eddies. Played by Rodales, he's played Keegan in. Keegan slipping it down the line for Amiobi. Coleman very close to him, but Amiobi's got support from Edward. Edward puts the cross in, away by Damien Lowe. Might still break for FC Edmonton, edge of the area. Correa playing it for Keegan. Keegan looks up, makes a good cross into the box there. And Jock goes down under the challenge, wins a free kick.
I think they get Nick Ledgerwood there for coming in late. I think he's just going for the ball. I don't think there's anything malicious there. Keegan's going to clip in the cross. You see Ledgerwood actually says him here. Yeah, there's two players going for the ball.
Well, Keegan's done a few good things since he came on.
I think so. I think his the time that he's been on maybe warrants a longer look. I'm not seeing what Colin Miller thinks about what he's seen today. But I think Keegan's at least caused a bit of trouble for Minnesota's asked some questions. I think Gustavo Salguero is about to come into the game. Brazilian.
Final substitution for FC Edmonton.
and 10. 20 going 18.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guests from Special Olympics Alberta. A big thank you to Canadian Western Bank for
Next home game for the Eddies against their Canadian rivals, the Ottawa Fury. April the 24th, Sunday at 2 p.m. Tickets at fcedmonton.com. April the 24th, Edmonton against Ottawa here at Clark Stadium.
Number 10, Pablo Cruz out. Now entering the match, number 20, Gustavo.
Gustavo comes in for Pablo Cruz. I think Pablo Cruz was all right today. He did some good things, had some good possession of the ball. Thought he did especially well when Keegan came into the game. But I think Gustavo, you want to have a look, see what he offers. The Brazilian player came into camp, was signed well before the preseason, but immigration issues and some paperwork issues. Got into camp a little later, but be interesting to see what he offers. I know Colin Miller is very high on the potential for Gustavo and what he can offer the Eddies.
Comes in with the Eddies trailing 2-0 to Minnesota, 12 minutes left. And he'll get his first touch here on the left-hand side. Plays it back for Roberts. Coleman for Minnesota. And then Jock. Plays a pass to Lowe. Lowe's been very good since he came on as a substitute. The center of defense replaced the captain, Calvano, who went off with an injury after the first 20 minutes. He almost scored a goal as well, Lowe, hitting the crossbar. Good game.
No, I think you can say that for a lot of the guys wearing those charcoal uniforms today. They lost solid efforts. I think Christian Ramirez will think that I could have a couple of goals today. But the end is about getting 3 points, and right now Minnesota well on course to getting those 3.
FC Edmonton hoping for a late fight back here. Correa, who's tackled, drops in the middle of the park for Rodales, and now Roberts.
If the Eddies, you think if you just get one in the next 5 minutes or so, get the one good chance, and you at least plant the seeds of doubt.
Up goes Amiobi, cushions the header down for Ledgerwood, trying to play it up towards the left-hand side, and Gustavo, but it's Jock who claims the ball. Jock kicking out of his hands. It's going to be headed down by Roberts nicely. Zebi plays it back to him. He's going to have to scramble to get the clearance away. It's a throw in. Good hustle there by Pino for Minnesota. Korea's trying to play Gustavo in with that cross-field pass. He's got a throw in for his team. Zebi finds Roberts. Eddie Edward now on the right wing. Ledgerwood in the middle. He's one out to the right-hand side. Looking for Korea. It's cleared by Minnesota up towards Lang. Stolen back by Rodales. Well played. This through ball is a little strong for Amiobi. And it's picked up again by Njok.
Amiobi not really much of a chance. I mean, that's what they've got to do. They've got to pump balls in the area. Not a lot of time left in this one. We've seen Njok mishandle earlier in the game too. You just got to take those chances and get those balls into the penalty area and see what happens. Got players who can do things.
Played by Venegas there, clips on down the line. Ramirez chasing. Zebi shows good pace to get there first and then finds Milan Roberts. Now Korea.
Yep, 15. We'll take 15.
Korea's going to switch play, looking for Gustavo, and he's got a bit of space here to run into. Gets pulled down from behind and has a free kick for FC Edmonton right on the edge of the penalty area.
I think Gustavo's now lobbying. I don't like to see players lobbying for cards. He's lobbying for one there, saying, I was in, he pulled me back. Gustavo's, let's put it this way, is he helped that call along a little bit, I think.
Just a little bit, I think, yeah.
There was a tug there, but I don't think Danny Cruz is that strong to pull him back with his hand like that.
Rodales from the resulting free kick. It's got a wicked bend on it, well defended against, and Korea hitting the volley, just couldn't get it the direction right, and it goes wide of the post. Minnesota making another substitution here.
There's a J.C. Banks coming in. And Lance Lang coming out.
You take Lance's, okay? Substitution for Minnesota United FC, number 17, Lawrence Lang, out. Now entering the match, number 29, J.C. Banks.
Well, Lang back at his old club. That's the last of his action. He's played 84 minutes today. Back in Edmonton. Colin Miller waving his players forward. There's Roberts. Gustavo playing a nice ball over the top. Here's Amiobi. He's got possession for Edmonton. Zebi in a crossing position. Keegan throwing himself at the ball and might drop for Korea. Nice little back heel for Edward, who drills it towards goal. Minnesota clearing it. This is a good spell from FC Edmonton. Korea trying to barge his way through there, and it's scrambled away by Minnesota.
The Eddies had numbers committed forward. Large amount of players, obviously, coming forward in that situation. Not many people are just hanging back. You're down 2 goals. And then when the ball starts bouncing in the air, you got the numbers in you got the number advantage. You got 5 or 6 players in the penalty area. The Eddies were at least able to force Minnesota with a couple of blocks there. positive signs.
Zebi on the left wing here. Ledgerwood in the penalty area. Good ball to the far post. Still alive in there. And it's going to be an FC Edmonton corner.
Yeah, Minnesota panic stations there. And I think someone slipped in the middle of the penalty area. I'm not sure if it was Amiobi. When that ball was headed back across, it would have been a great chance of the player who would have been there. You see Amiobi slips down and the ball's popped back. Might have gone over where he was, but still, Eddies are their best spells of pressure right now. They've had all game long.
Not the best corner cleared by the first defender at the near post. But one back well. With Edward again, and now Rodales. He's got a throw in for his team.
I think at least 3 minimum, 4 maybe max.
Diakite through the middle. Amiobi on the chest, beautifully done. Tries to fire the shot towards goal. It's gone over the top.
You've got 1:45 for one and 45 seconds for another, so that's 3. Right? All of them. 6. Okay, 4. Okay.
Couple of minutes left, plus stoppages now.
Getting the board ready. Get over here a little bit. There are debates about how much time is going to be added on. I think it's going to be 4.
Coach.
Still going to be some time for FC Edmonton, because I'm hearing there are 4 minutes in addition to be played at the end of the 90. So 6 minutes left for them to try and conjure up something here. Van Oekel waving people forward. Much of an option there for Diakite other than conceding the throw.
Hold it.
Minnesota just taking their time right now. This free kick. Getting it ready to hit to the 90-minute mark.
Just taking it into the corner there. Trying to kill a few seconds on the clock. And we're fast approaching the 90th minute. As Edward tosses one down the line there, and it's helped on by Rodales. It'll be a free kick for FC Edmonton.
The fourth official has indicated that there will be a minimum of 4 minutes extra time allowed.
4 minutes, that confirmation. The Eddies should at least try to get something out of this game.
Van Oekel's bringing this one out so he can get some distance on it. It's going to go right into the penalty area. Amiobi very unlucky. He got a good head on that. I don't think Lowe knew much about it. Came off the back of his head and dropped for Jock.
So it's not bad. I mean, it's not the most beautiful football in the world, but going Route 1 like that, might have liked to have seen a little bit more of that from the Eddies today. Amiobi so effective at knocking that ball down, getting that first touch in. You see, especially when you bring in someone like Damien Lowe, when one of the central defenders goes out injured early in the game, put some pressure there. You have a player like Amiobi who can win a lot of aerial battles.
right wing here. Gets the ball back from Rodales. Tried to play it out to the left-hand side in Gustavo, but it drops for Venegas. He's played a ball over the top of the defense, but Diakite, a very nice header. Back to the goalkeeper, Van Okel. We're in stoppage time now, with the Eddies trailing 2-0 at Clark Stadium to Minnesota. 2 goals from Ben Spies. Diakite, long ball into the area. Amiobi on the chest. Good feed to Keegan. Ledgerwood winning it back on the edge of the box. Just couldn't pull the trigger. That's going to be easy for Njok. Towards the far post here, and there's going to be danger in there, just over the top. Very, very close to it being 3-0 from Ramirez.
Christian Ramirez has that's a hat trick of golden chances now that have gone wanting. Great ball from Pino, and Ramirez just over the bar. But yet another great chance for Minnesota. Hasn't stopped all game long.
Gustavo, left wing. Support from Zebi. Closed down well by Minnesota again.
Tell you, if you take a betting man and say, you give Christian Ramirez the kind of chances he'd get today, that many open looks, how many goals would he have? Not many would say that he wouldn't have buried any of them.
Eddie Edwards strikes one towards goal, and wasn't a bad try either. And just touched wide. It's going to be a corner for the Eddies, but Zebi looks like he's in a bit of discomfort in the meantime here.
Takes a bit of a deflection.
Here's the corner for Edmonton. Correa headed away at the near post. Zebi is hobbling around, gets the ball back into the box. There's a flick header by Keegan. And that is the last action of the match. And it ends 2-0 for Minnesota. Both goals by Ben Spies. And FC Edmonton's first home game ends in defeat.
Yeah, it's a disappointing effort today by the Eddies. Had some chances late in the game to at least claw one back, but Minnesota, series of very, very good chances throughout the game. Had a lot of looks. Two fantastic goals from Ben Spies. Goal, woodwork hit by Damian Lowe. Christian Ramirez, 3 or 4 outstanding chances, and really Minnesota looking very much like the team that we thought they would be in the preseason. The prohibitive favorite to be the team that will be there at the end. And this was a preseason favorite for a lot of people, and they showed it why today.
Minnesota taking all 3 points at Clark Stadium. Edmonton beaten by 2 goals from Ben Spies. Stay with us for our post-game show. It ends Edmonton 0, Minnesota 2. Welcome back to Clark Stadium. Scottish Day not turning out as well as FC Edmonton would have hoped for at Clark Stadium today, losing 2-0 to Minnesota United. Let's hear from the Minnesota coach, Carl Craig.
Hi, Carl. Congratulations. And, you know, two very good goals from Ben Spies today, but you might have had more.
Van Okel makes, as usual, a couple of brilliant saves. But, yes, I agree with you. You know, you saw Ramirez's goal last week. They talk about goal of the season in the first few minutes of a game, and Spies' second goal today. absolutely outstanding.
And you were able to get behind their back four all day. A lot of balls, both down the wings and down the middle. Do you knew that Albert Watson was out? Did you know there was some weaknesses that you could exploit today?
Well, it was more to do with how we want to play rather than look at the opposition. Last week I didn't think we got our full-backs pushed high enough and our wide midfielders high enough, so we specifically looked at doing that today, and then it paid off.
All right, congratulations, Coach.
Appreciate it. Cheers.
That's Carl Craig joining us at the pitch down there, and we'll talk to Eddie's coach Colin Miller momentarily here as he shakes the hand of Carl Craig. Edmonton, the first home match of the season, and the fans coming out to cheer on the team, but not quite working out the way they would have hoped for it to. Let's speak to Eddie's coach Colin Miller. Colin, thanks for joining us. Just your assessment on your team today.
Yeah, on the day, second best for most of the performance. In all honesty, it's disappointing because we had a good wee crowd here, good atmosphere in the place, and things were gearing up. The lads put in a terrific shift last Saturday down in Oklahoma, but let ourselves down here today. 2 poor goals defensively. Big Matt was the difference from it probably being a little bit more than that, if I have to be brutally honest. We just lacked a wee bit. We lacked a lot of quality at times in possession. In particular in the final third, when we got into some reasonably good areas and had no presence, no quality in that final pass. But you know, it's very early in the season, so the guys haven't let us down too often in the past. Today was just a flat performance, not a good performance from us.
Well, and they're one of the top teams as well, Colin. Big budget that they've got, and as you mentioned before the game, a dangerous team. But what will you say to the players moving forward from here now?
Yeah, it's a disappointing loss at home because we want to win as many home games as we possibly can. But whether it's Minnesota, Cosmos, or Tampa, they're all big budget teams. We don't want to make excuses. The players can't look at that and say, well, they've got a little bit more money to spend on their players, because that's you look at Leicester City in the English Premier League at the moment. There's clubs that have spent hundreds of millions of pounds, and Leicester haven't. So there's no excuses there. It's We'll regroup. We're not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. We were put in a poor performance by our standards, and we'll get better for next week. We'll have to, because we go down to a very good Tampa Bay side, and it's a game to look forward to again. It's 2 good teams that we'll be playing against each other next Saturday night.
All right, thank you, Colin.
Thank you.
That's Eddie's coach, Colin Miller. No excuses, just not happy with the way his team played today, and mentioning it was a bit of a flat performance from his team.
Yeah, and I think he's right when he says if not for Matt Van Oekel, it might have been more. I think Carl Craig said it as well with some of the saves that the former Minnesota keeper made, that Minnesota was probably unlucky to only win by 2. If a team can be unlucky in a victory, I guess. Yeah.
Let's go back for the full-time highlights, brought to you by Oodle Noodle today.
Here we see some miscommunication between Milan Roberts and Alan Zebby here. And right away it's turned into a chance for Christian Ramirez and Matt Van Oekel's first great save of the game. And that was, unfortunately for the Eddies, a harbinger of things to come. Another giveaway. Milan Roberts gives this one away and ends up in the back of the net. Ben Spies benefits from the pass from Kevin Venegas. We see a good chance here. Pablo Cruz trying to get a ball into Tomi Amiobi. Just misses connecting there. I think this is where we see Amiobi getting up with a header there on the set piece. And Jock with a good save. But Minnesota kept coming. Damian Lowe with a header into the turf and off the bar. He's very unlucky not to have scored. And then we see Ben Spies turning Milan Roberts around there with that flick. And then a perfect finish. Some wonderful, and as Carl Craig said, we saw a highlight of the week goal from Christian Ramirez last week for Minnesota, and that'll be right up there. That's going to get replayed a whole bunch of times on the NASL website.
Very nice finish by Spies there. A brace from him. The difference between the teams, a 2-0 victory for Minnesota today. Let's talk to the captain of the Eddies today. Nick Ledgerwood led out the team, and his first match at home for FC Edmonton. Nick, your coach Colin Miller felt it was a bit of a flat performance today. What would the players say about about the game today?
Yeah, I guess we kind of agree with that. We got off to a hard start and couldn't really find any rhythm to get into the game. There was some poor defending on both of the goals that I think we need to do better throughout the season. But just that little spark wasn't there that we needed for our home opener. It's kind of disappointing because we had a good fan base come out. Hopefully everybody comes out for our next home game and supports us, because we'll work on some stuff and we'll definitely improve as the season goes on.
Yeah, Nick, maybe talk about being an Alberta product and coming back in this home opener and the atmosphere, what you saw today.
Yeah, it's definitely probably one of the better ones I've seen here in Alberta. I think it'll keep on growing, and everybody coming out to support the local team here in Edmonton is great. If the weather plays a good role this season, I don't see why we can't fill the stadium every home game. So I think all the lads enjoyed it. It was a good atmosphere. We had some bagpipes in the beginning, which was nice. So it'll keep getting better from here.
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Nick Ledgerwood, the Eddie skipper today in Albert Watson's absence, and there he is wearing the captain's armband, and again very honest about the fact that it just wasn't the best effort from the Eddies today.
No, and I think there's a lot of things he said they're going to work on, and they got a big game against Tampa next week, and then home to Ottawa in a couple of weeks. So big game still coming up for the Eddies. A lot of the season left to play.
There's Tomiami Obi signing some autographs down there. He went the closest to a goal for FC Edmonton, forcing some saves for and Jack. But in the end, that man, Lance Lang, who was with FC Edmonton last year on the winning team against his old club. And those two excellent goals by Ben Spies, the difference between the teams here at Clark Stadium today. Thanks for joining us today. Good night.